Welcome to another interesting afternoon with EBTV. I am so pleased to be able to interview one of my favorite people here at Epworth Villa, and that would be Harvey Reeg. Harvey has such an unusual background. Welcome, Harvey Reeg. We are so glad that you're here, and I'm so excited I get to be the one to introduce you, because you're one of the first people that I met when I first came here. And we figured out through the course of a conversation that, oh my goodness, you taught my sister-in-law, but we'll get to that in just a second. And I'm wondering how many of our viewers know where Alene Cleo area is in Oklahoma. Because if my memory serves me correctly, that's in that area is where you grew up.
That's exactly right, Catherine.
Well, tell us about growing up in Alene Cleo area.
Well, I won't mention Cleo right now.
Oh, okay.
Alene was home.
Okay.
And Alene and Cleo really didn't get along at that
rivals.
time.
Yes.
So we were rivals. But that's a long time ago, but I grew up all my life, my first 18 years in Alene, and it was a town of, at that time, about 400 people, and it was named after the daughter of one of the railroad bigwigs, yes, and that's where Alene came from.
Oh, interesting.
And if you ever heard of it on the TV, they always say A-line.
Yeah.
A-line. But anyway, had a great time. My father was superintendent of schools, and my mother was a first grade teacher, and my sister was 7 years older than I, so I really had two mothers, kind of, which was nice. But she became a teacher, so there was no doubt as I continued to grow, the school was very important to me, and I was going to be a school teacher, just like my dad. But
did all four of you ever work together in the same school?
no. My mother passed away when I was 19. She had liver cancer back in 1949.
Wow.
So anyway, I lost her, but I went to school from first grade through 12th grade in Alene. My sister became a teacher at Alene, and I did go to school to her in business, and of course my dad was a full-time teacher and superintendent of schools, and he taught math and science in the high school. So I went to school to him, and I've often said that I did graduate because my dad was superintendent, and he told the teachers, you know, to take care of Harvey Bill, which is what I went
Oh,
by.
Harvey Bill.
Harvey
Okay.
Bill. My father's name was Harvey. So I was Harvey Bill.
Oh, what a great.
So I went to school and enjoyed it, had much fun. We were, well, the class, my senior class was 13 people. We had 13 in the class. So that was very small, and
made everybody very accountable.
everybody knew each other, and we were all friends, and all the boys had lived in, well, the ones that lived in the city, we always worked on for the farmers, for jobs and everything.
What would you consider living in the city?
I'm sorry, Alene was the city.
Okay. Okay, I just thought we'd clarify that.
We were the city kids, but we hoed watermelons and bucked bales in the hayfield and did whatever the farmers would hire us to do, but we all
things that needed to be done.
That's right, and it was fun. It was fun.
Did you participate in extracurricular activities or have any interest in any of that?
Everything.
Everything.
In fact, all of us did everything in school, but I was in drama.
Good.
Was in speech. We had a speech teacher outside of the school who lived in Alene, and I took lessons from 6 years of age to 20 years of age with her, and did a lot of humorous readings and, well, other kinds of
sure.
Drama readings. And then we had plays, school plays that we were part of.
What about music?
And there was of course, vocal music. We had a little, at times we had a band, we had a high school band, we had a orchestra, and so even though I have never learned, I took piano lessons for years but never learned how to play. Didn't love the practice at all, but my sister, in growing up, played the clarinet. The saxophone. And so when we had a school orchestra, I played the saxophone. Didn't know how, but I played it. And also played the tuba. They often needed someone big enough to hold a tuba. And
okay, I have to stop and clarify something. You said orchestra. How many were in your class?
We had 13.
13. So
but they had probably 4 years, the freshmen, sophomore, seniors. There were probably 30 or so in the orchestra.
Orchestra. That's amazing. It's wonderful they could provide that.
It was very nice.
Wow.
But, maybe only a year or two that it was in operation. But the year or two that I was there, I mean, they would maybe have a band rather than an orchestra and so on.
And what did you play?
Well, let's see. Let's start on the rhythm band in grade school. Now, I played the sticks. I always wanted to move up to the triangle, but I never got out of the sticks. And that's pretty much the way of my band experience and my orchestra experience.
Stuck with the sticks.
Even though I went from the saxophone to the tuba to whatever else they might need, that I could hold it and act like I was playing it, I guess, because I didn't really know how to do it.
But you looked good doing it.
Anyway, I thought it looked good to be up there.
Oh, you did well with that, I'm very sure. Well, so what did you do after high school at Allen?
Well, no, let's not finish with high school.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I had to play basketball.
Well, yes.
We were the Allen Bluebirds. Bluebirds
You said bluebirds.
Bluebirds.
The fierce bluebirds.
The fierce bluebirds. We were the best tweeters, on the basketball court. That we were not an outstanding basketball team.
But you had a good time.
But we always had a good time. And then the big sport in Alene at that time was tennis. And so from about 8 years of age, playing tennis against the side of my house, hitting the ball against the wall, and I did love tennis and did well. In fact, my dad was the tennis coach, and we always played in different tournaments and different schools and whatnot, but the Allen Bluebirds really did pretty well on the tennis court.
They tweeted well.
Yes, but in the Alfalfa County tournaments, we didn't do well in basketball, but We did well with tennis. We would win the county tournament quite often, and I usually played mixed doubles. I've always enjoyed playing with a female partner rather than these boy partners. That's so much more fun. So that was much fun. And then in college, I went to Northwestern State College in Alva to be a teacher.
Yes.
And I planned to be a teacher like my father, math and science. But after, well, before I hit calculus, I realized I wasn't going to be a good math teacher. So I still thought science would be fine, but after I got over the second course of chemistry and many of the biological courses that I had to take, I decided science and math and high school teaching wasn't for me, because the professors, well, elementary school became my focus, and I wanted to teach. In the 50s, there were not a lot of male teachers in elementary education.
Exactly.
And that interested me. And I liked the idea of being a role model if I could be. But the bad thing was I was left-handed. Penmanship wasn't too good, and I often thought that I'd better learn to write more correctly as a penman. So I learned, instead of writing this way with my left hand, I taught myself to write this way. Not well, but that's the way I usually write.
So how long did you teach in elementary?
How long did I teach?
Just elementary, because I know you went up.
No. Always elementary.
Oh.
I had probably close to 40 years in elementary school. But after about 6 years of teaching in elementary school, I was promoted to my higher level of incompetence and became a school principal.
Oh, well, yes.
And the first couple of years I was a full-time teacher plus principal, but then I got my administrator's certificate and became a full-time principal in Alva, Oklahoma. Spent 36 years or so in Alva.
I know we found out that you had my sister-in-law in your class.
Very much so, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, all that time elementary, all that time administration toward the second half or second 3/4 of it. What did you do then? You stayed all that?
No, it was all elementary school.
Very good.
Always elementary school.
After school, you retired from education. What did you do?
Well, we probably should mention during this period of time, I went to school at Oklahoma State University for an administrator's certificate, summers, and prior to that, I attended Northwestern. Well, I went to the service in 1954, 54 to 56. I was drafted into the service after graduation. And, well, in fact, even more important, I got married in 1954, and this sweet lady put up with me for 53 years.
Oh, wow.
And we had our family. But I went into the service. We got married in June of 1954, went to the Army in September of 1954, and spent 2 years in the United States Army, which I was not an outstanding soldier, but I was very patriotic. I felt very good. and enjoyed my 2 years. I'll go ahead and finish my service. I became a teletype operator because my sister had taught me typing. So this was during the Korean conflict, and to save going overseas, I really didn't want to carry a rifle and be in the infantry. And this one man who interviewed me at the end of my 8 weeks basic service saw, "Oh, you know how to teach or how to type?" I said, "Yes." "Well, we'll make you a teletype operator." So I went to Camp Gordon, Georgia for 8 weeks, learning to be a teletype operator, which was using typing skills. And it sends a message that you type electronically. So I did that, and near the end of that career, that teaching or that schooling, I thought I was going to be assigned as an instructor in teletype school, which I thought would be great. But I was in the knowledge of the United States Army. I was sent to White Sands Proving Ground in New Mexico as a teletype operator. And this was very interesting service there because they were trying to develop a Nike missile, which was land airplane,
Right.
to shoot down planes. Well, they were having trouble in developing this missile, but while I was a teletype operator, I was assigned to the college in Las Cruces to try to set up communications between the laboratory in White Sand in the proving grounds and the college. Well, this teletype machine that we were operating had what they called they scrambled the messages for security reasons, and they could never get the scrambler to work in the year and a half that I was at Las Cruces, or at White Sands. So we had our first child during this period of time,
I
a
was going to ask you
son,
about children.
and I was about 6 months out of getting out of the Army, and so since they couldn't get the communications working, they dropped the program between the college and the base, the lab at the base. And my wife, my baby son, and I had time before I got discharged, to go home to Oklahoma for a leave. And when I got back to base after the leave, there was no place in White Sands Proving Ground for Harvey Reeg. It was all over, except for there was about a 3-month soldier that had no assignment, and they just assigned me to what they called the blockhouse, where they could watch the missiles hit the drones, and that was very interesting, except I found out that as long as I stayed there, I'd be on KP, Kitchen Police, and get to wash dishes and whatnot. So I was anxious to get out. And September of 1954, it finally happened, and I'd already applied for a job. My dad had since retired, and he was widowed, so he was going to retire the superintendency. He had been a 25-year superintendent of schools and well known, a good man, and had done well. And he was going to spend his retirement visiting his sister and her family, and visiting with me and my wife and family, my son. Well, when he retired, he was hired to teach junior high math and science in Fairview, Oklahoma. So he really enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was much fun, and I applied from the college after I was facing my discharge. There was a job opening in Fairview grade school. So I applied for it, and the superintendent knew my dad and knew the family, and he said, when you get discharged, you come, you've got a job in 5th grade, Fairview, Oklahoma. So that's the way it happened. I wound up, my baby and I and my wife, and we wound up in Fairview, Oklahoma, teaching 5th grade for 4 years, from 1956 to 1960.
Let's do a quantum leap. How did you get to Epworth Villa?
Okay. When I had a chance, I received a position in Alva, Oklahoma, and that's where I spent my career. So I had about 36 years of Alva, and then the process had 2 more children, had another son, and then a daughter was born. Then I spent, 1990 or so, somewhere in through there, I retired and just enjoyed life. But my daughter had MS, developed MS as an adult, and she needed help in Arlington, Texas. She was a pharmacist. So my wife and I retired from education and moved to Arlington. Spent 12 years there, wonderful. Then their health needed more than I could do, and so we found a place in Enid, Golden Oaks, Enid Retirement Community, and lost my wife. The daughter was in assisted living, and then I stayed in Golden Oaks for 12 years. Then dated the girl after I lost my wife, dated my girl that I dated in high school, and she had married a man in Fairview, and he was a farmer, rancher. We married. I became a farmer rancher with her, and then when her health broke a number of years later, in 2025, we were moved to the Fairview nursing home. From there, I lost her, and my boys said it'd be more convenient for them, instead of driving 150 miles, to move down here. So in about 2025, I moved to Epworth Villa, a wonderful, wonderful, self-contained place. Don't need anything else, everybody. If you want to come to a good place, come to Epworth Villa.
We love having you in the choir.
And there's choir, there's banks, there's vespers, there's a church service, there's a pharmacy, there's
you don't need to leave.
I don't need to leave. In fact, the day I moved in, my younger son sold my car, so I'm stuck here in Epworth Villa and really enjoy it. Have many, many, many activities, many things to do.
Well, and you have
It's a great time.
You have many, many friends as well.
Really do.
They hear that
Many.
wonderful voice coming. Yes, I appreciate your time so much.
I'm
so
sorry.
very much.
Well,
And
I'm sorry it just went on and on for
Well-
people, but anyway, I enjoyed. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you.